Yo, so apparently astrologists are predicting the election. Um, I bumped into this like in the Philip DeFranco show. I immediately stopped because I wanted to get a full reaction out of this. Um, this is hilarious. First and foremost, for me personally, astrology for them to start predicting the election is just bruh. This is like you might as well ask the octopus, those octopus or those like, those pets that like supposedly predict like who's gonna win the Super Bowl and all that. This is the equivalent of that too, bro. Like this is just in their lane, bro. So this is gonna be hilarious. I'm excited to see what are they gonna pull out of their ass to predict this election.
Forget the polls. Look
All right,
up
here you
to
go.
the sky and look at the stars. That is a real thing that people who are going to vote are doing right now. With
Right.
seemingly an increasing number of people getting very invested what astrologers have to say about this election. And as wild as that may all sound, I mean, this is actually far from the first time astrology and politics have intersected. I mean, if you
Oh,
actually
for
look into
real?
it, a lot of historical world leaders have relied on astrology. Right? I mean, this phenomenon, it didn't fall out of a coconut tree. It exists in the context.
Okay,
And right
okay.
now, a
Here,
lot of
stop.
readings about the election are going viral because, as chaotic as this cycle has already been, some astrologers actually predicted how it would go down. Not only calling that Biden would jump out of the race, but getting some of it down to
Whoa, 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 whoa. No
predicted
way.
how
Hold on, hold the fuck on. Hold the fuck hold. Give me a second. No, you're telling me these sons of bitches predicted that. Oh, I'm gonna be eating crow's feet. Oh no. Oh, this is gonna hurt. The fact that they got it right is gonna. This is. Uh, ah.
how it would go down. Not only calling the
Okay, if Biden is made to step down because he won't on his own, it'll be at the Capricorn full moon at 29. I don't know what 29 degrees. Capricorn 29. Capricorn rules the government and the old age at old age. 29 is an ending. Any date, July 21st.
Biden would jump out of the race, but
Star Heel, homegirl, you better start handing me them lottery tickets. You better start showing me them lottery tickets. You better tell me what day these numbers are gonna align so I can get that bag, brother. Like, come on.
getting some of it down to the exact
Damn, that is insane. I'm eating crow's feet
date
right
he'd do
now.
so. I mean, some of these predictions, they go as far back as 2020. And in the weeks before Biden even stepped out, some started looking at
Kamala's current perfections. I can't believe I can't read perfections to this year's solar return look kinda presidential. Kamala Harris solar return inner ring October 21st, 2023, Saturday, 427, Oakland, California. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so this is her like it's looking presidential. Okay, but what about the what are we looking at? I'm curious what Trump's astrology is going.
Kamala
The fact that these words are coming out of my mouth is just so fucking. Oh my god, bro! I can't. I can't. I hate these guys. I hate all of you.
and saying,
If you put Biden up against Trump, Trump's activations astrologically look a lot better.
Okay.
However, because Biden's looks so weird, it's like it doesn't even look like someone who's doing anything major, really. It looks like somebody who is staying home, essentially. So
I don't get
looking
it.
at his chart, I was like, okay, is he even the nominee?
I then almost feel like Biden somehow does come into presidency in some way.
I didn't know Lana Rhodes started doing astrology as a recent. That's crazy, bro.
And mostly I feel that way because I feel like we might end up with Kamala Harris as our actual president. Again, this is a hot take. I actually really don't follow politics closely, so this is just based on astrology, honestly.
right, not every video
Why are we having Nostradamus on TikTok?
got everything 100%,
Okay,
but
good.
a lot was pretty on the money. You know,
Yeah.
astrology, it's something you either
It's
buy
weird.
into or you don't. Just to be
I
clear,
don't.
I personally do not. But the point here isn't to sell you
don't.
on it or sell you against it or tell you what's bound to happen in November. Instead, what's really interesting is why so many people are looking at it right now and how
The cosmic coincidences of astrology is hilarious.
it's being used for potential answers during a time of political uncertainty. So with this, we actually talked to astrologist Catherine Urban, who not only
Really?
made accurate predictions about this election so far, but had very interesting insights as to why people have become so invested.
I think people have always looked to astrology to help answer questions that are unknown. People have always consulted the stars as well as other forms of divination to gain clarity on the future, especially when there's
I ain't gonna lie, I dig this pic right here. Or this painting. This shit's sick. This but this right here, I need that. I'm gonna have to cop that. It's in the stars for me to have this. Just let
a
you
lot
know.
at stake, like there seems to be with this election.
We're saying usually she talks to people who want answers about personal issues like their marriage, their career, or their health. You know, right now, the line between
And that thing is always to me so generic, right, bro? You can say that about like anyone, right? They be talk. It's like that one episode of like South Park, right, where Stan is able to like talk to the dead and whatever. But it's like the way he explains is like, yo, it's so generic that at some point someone's gonna just align to it. Like if you speak to a whole crowd, someone in that crowd is going to relate, you know, to that, to whatever the hell you're saying. So to me, that's why it's always like whatever with these astrology stuff.
personal and political, it is super, super thin.
I guess maybe that's one of the reasons why we're seeing it more and more mainstream around this election is because the outcome of this election does become personal.
These pics of these two is just
is because the outcome of this election does become personal for a lot
I ain't gonna lie, these two pictures are just
of people,
abysmal.
you know, as far as the decisions people are able to make about their bodies, for example, you know, that being like a high ticket issue, people do feel that the outcome of this election will impact them personally. And so I think more people are invested in knowing what's going to happen.
And astrology generally is becoming more and more popular, especially among young people. With, for example, a survey from YouGov in 2022 finding that 27% of Americans, including 37% of adults under 30, say they believe in astrology or the general idea that the stars and planets influence our lives. And in fact, as many as 70 million Americans reportedly check their horoscopes every day. But I mean, this election in particular, it is so crazy. It is people turning to literally anything for guidance. I mean, there is a woman, and prepare yourselves to hear this sentence, who predicts the future by looking at asparagus. Yes, the vegetable asparagus. She is
Are y'all hearing what I'm hearing? Asparagus. What did she do? Is it like the like, you know, pick the stick? Like you have like a cool amount of stick. Whoever gets the shortest stick is like the loser here. What? How does she predict this shit?
called the Asparamancer, and at the start of the year, she said that the U.S. would get its first female president this year, though she later indicated she didn't think it would be Kamala. As far as why people are...
What? It's not gonna be Kamala. Bro, imagine, right? Like if, because Trump is like seeing this weird-ass woman, right? It's not Melina or whatever. Like he's been taking pictures with this weird woman. What if it's her? Yo! Oh, what a plot twist. What a plot twist. I really dig the suit though. I ain't gonna lie, that shit fire.
First female president this year, though she later indicated she didn't think it would be Kamala. As far as why people are turning to divination specifically to seek out these answers, Catherine says it's twofold. Right? People have a natural longing to find something bigger than themselves. It's why a lot of people turn to religion, but for those who want something non-denominational or more open-minded for themselves, astrology can fit that bill. And this, as we see the stars and the moon every night, which makes them easy to relate to. But she also added that lately it feels like there's a lot to make sense of.
We live in an information age, and this is kind of a newer development for human beings. Our nervous systems are not used to taking in this much information. Historically, human beings are wired to know what's going on locally and maybe a little bit nationally. We're plugged in all the time. And so there are more things to be anxious about generally. And so I'm not so sure that we necessarily live in times that are more stressful than our ancestors. It's just that there's a deeper awareness of more ongoings. So there is more that we are forced to care about.
You know, like I said earlier, some of the most powerful people in the world,
as Morty says, lamb to the cosmic slaughter we are,
have been certified astrology girlies. I mean, even Ronald Reagan, he and Nancy were known to frequently refer to an astrologist while in the White House, specifically turning...
Ooh, like that one guy with Rasputin, the Dukes, right? Was it the Dukes when they used to also talk to Rasputin for like advice and stuff? Ooh, that's
to the
crazy.
field after the assassination attempt against him. While they downplayed it as a hobby, many others have shot back at that. With, for example, Reagan's former chief of staff once writing in a memoir, virtually every major move and decision the Reagans made during my time as White House chief of staff was cleared in advance with a woman in San Francisco who drew up horoscopes to make certain that the planets were in favorable alignment for the enterprise.
And what an idiotic thing to do, bro. If that woman felt like betraying the country, she would have done something crazy, bro. She would have told them to do something crazy. Oh, never rely, bro. Please, oh, please don't. I hope we never rely on astrologists like we used to back in the day, bro. Where we used to like take advice from like spiritual leaders such as the Pope or something like that, or not Rasputin and stuff like that, or this woman. Like I hope we never go back to something like that. I I lose it. I
That
lose it.
woman was Joan
That's it.
Quigley, and she said that
GG's.
she worked in the White House for 7 years and was responsible for timing press conferences, speeches, when Air Force One would fly, and even when debates would happen. Many reports also claim that J.P. Morgan, right, the actual human person, not the bank, was also into
Oh,
astrology. And he is often credited with saying that millionaires don't need astrologers, but billionaires do. And as for why powerful people have often turned to astrology, Catherine said that, like everyday people, it all has to do with feelings of uncertainty and a need for answers.
Historically, a lot of world leaders have used astrologers because, there's a lot at stake for that kind of role. And to try to anticipate what might happen as
okay.
far as
No, I don't know how to explain this. I'm gonna cut this out. I don't know how to explain this, but like my conspiracy brain kind of turned on when listening to this. I'm not gonna lie.
world events and things that might impact a nation.
And in fact, those stakes actually kind of brought on the first forms of astrology ages and ages ago, right? I mean, it was initially used to look at more of a collective.
It was used by kings and rulers in order to understand what's going to be impacting our kingdom as far as things like droughts or famines or pandemics and things like that.
Then fast forward to today, and it's not just about personal life or politics or global crises. Some people use astrology to predict what's going to happen with the stock market, which I know may not be the finance bro crossover you expected, but it's happening. But as far as November goes, you have Catherine saying, it's not like astrologers look into crystal balls or have that so Raven-esque visions, right?
Oh,
Though when it comes to the election
cool.
and even just to how we got here, she did say,
for many years, many of my colleagues, as well as myself, have been anticipating the rise of Kamala Harris, as well as issues with Biden's health. I started paying closer attention to Kamala Harris's chart when she became elected the vice president. And that's when I was like, ooh, watch out.
With all that said, I'll say a different version of what I always say. Ignore the polls, ignore astrology, and make sure you just Virgo to the polls. Don't boo me. You can't shame a man that's embraced his cringe. But that aside, any and all thoughts you have regarding
Well played on that play on words, bro. Well played. Yeah, man. Spiritual, like being in touch with the spirituality, like when it comes to astrology, religion, and all that good stuff. It's like I don't know. It's there is like a sort of like when things are way out of your hand, when things are like for the chaos of the like everything, when everything's in chaos, right? You just want something to give you that edge, right? And so religion, astrology, tarot, whatever it is, if that can help you give you the edge and make you feel confident, then so be it, right? Like whatever. Now I hope they're not over here, sacrificing things, right? That's my thing. But yeah, man, yeah. Like I've had a few spiritual encounter, like not I can't say encounters, but like some like I'm very like I don't believe in like the spiritual. I don't believe in all that type of stuff, right? But there's moments in my life where I was like, yo, hold on. Um, like recently, like a month or two ago, I even wrote it down on my phone. I had a dream of a woman, and her name was Oshan. And it turns out she's like an African goddess. I've never heard of that name. I've never, yeah, I've never heard of her. And then just like she stood out, she gave me a number, and Oshan, and it was like this interesting moment where it just felt so real. So like moments like that is what keeps me like spiritually like like keeps that like spiritual piece of me alive, where it's like something sometimes calls out to you, bro. Something calls out to you. There's also a moment where I really like a song that I really relate to is "How Much Does a Dollar Cost." Also, this is like another big pivoting point of like what kept my spirituality alive is because I was thinking of something, and it was at a bus stop. I was having all these thoughts coming to my head, and I was just like, "Damn, like I don't know what to do." And this homeless woman, I never forget it. I was on Santa Monica and Fairfax. I was waiting for the bus to go to Fairfax and Venice. I was going to straight there, and this homeless woman sat next to me, and what was going through my thoughts, she responded with, "Sometimes it's best to let people go." And I, bruh, that's one of those moments where it feels like God speaks to you, right? Like God speaks to you through people. And for me, that was a moment where it's like, yo, there is truth to that. And so those are a few moments in my life where I feel like that's what kept me clinging on to the possibility of spirituality and all that stuff, that there's something might be bigger out there. That's something that's like, this world, this earth and all that is like, we're here. This is like, I don't know, like I don't know how to explain. Like this is like there's another phase to this life, to the next life, right? There's another phase after this, and so it's interesting. It's interesting. This is fun. It's all fun and games, right? It's like as long as no one gets hurt, as long as basically as long as no one gets hurt and like all that good stuff. Like, and I hope that our leaders of the world don't really like lean on astrology and like, because at the end of the day, you don't know if these people will, I don't know, like have a shift or something, and then they'll start giving you information, the wrong information on purpose, and you are so wholeheartedly into this whole entire astrology spirituality thing that you will willing to risk hundreds of lives and all. I don't know, it's all crazy. But hopefully it all comes out right, bro. That's all I hope for. I hope we all come out good, bro. Like I hope we can all just find that peace within us. Yeah, yeah.